Okay, my name is Andie Waldron. Waldron is my married name. When I went to school here, my maiden name was Miner, M-I-N-E-R. And when I was born in 1951, way down in the dark, way back in the dark ages, I lived across the river on 28N. And I don't know if you know where that is, but when you go across the bridge, say if you're going to Minerva Lake, that's the bridge. And my house is 1, 2, 3, the fourth house on the right-hand side. And I started going to school in 1956, maybe. I started kindergarten, and I graduated in 1970. Go ahead. We had music and we had art, and we would have, I don't remember who would do the music when I was in third or fourth grade. When I got a little bit older, we had Mr. Merrill Fuller as our music teacher, and he did chorus. And later on, when I was in high school, in junior high and high school, I did band, and it was Mr. Colin Gray, and then Mr. Colin Gray retired, and we had Mr., oh my gosh, I can't think of his name, but anyway, he was only here 2 years, and then we had Mr. Conti came after I graduated.
Why?
My favorite subject? Okay, my favorite subject probably was recess. What do you think? Does that sound like a good one? Yeah, because it was fun. I got to play with all my friends. That's not really through the school, but I'll tell you, we did go skiing a lot over at Ski Bowl, and that was called Gore Mountain. That wasn't the big mountain. That was the only one that was there. And there was 2 rope tows. Does anybody know what a rope tow is?
Yeah, I've been on one before.
Okay, well there were 2 rope tows, and I'm going to finish. And then, you know where the Hudson chair is now? It goes all the way up. You know what that was? A T-bar. A T-bar. And when you went up over the Hudson Wall, you were literally on a T-bar going up like this. So your skis were on the snow going up the track, and your butt was like this, and your body was like this. Do you believe it? It was scary. First of all, my mother always packed me a lunch. I know some of you guys, probably your parents pack your lunch. Okay. But there was one lunch that a friend gave me a taste and I always wanted to get, and then finally my mother let me have that one lunch, and it was chipped beef over toast. And it was like a white gravy with chipped beef over toast, and I just love that one, and I have no idea how much it cost, probably a nickel back in those days, okay? The very first trip that we ever went on when I was in kindergarten or first grade was Storytown, USA. Do you know where that is? It's now called the Great Escape in Lake George.
I've been there before.
And when I went, they didn't have all those big rides that you guys are used to. There was just like Cinderella's pumpkin drawn by horses. We could ride in that. There was the Snow White exhibits. There was a swan boat that we could take. And then also, too, there was Frontier Town, but it was just Storytown and Frontier Town, and that's all there was. There was none of the other big rides. Then the other thing I remember going to was when I was in Girl Scouts, we used to go camping up at Garnet Lake. I had a lot of holidays when I was in school, and my favorite one was always Christmas. And I think everybody else's is Christmas. I also loved Thanksgiving, but I also liked Easter too. I don't know, man, oh man, I loved holidays all the way around.
Valentine's Day?
Yeah, Valentine's Day, but I liked Easter because my dad we would build a bunny hutch outside for the Easter bunny to come. And it was made out of pine bark. And a lot of my friends didn't have, when I was real young, did not have TVs at all. I was fortunate. My parents were able to have a TV, and the TV screen was this big. And it was a big, huge rectangle box, and the TV screen was this big, and it was only in black and white.
That's little.
Yeah, that is little, yes. The playground was a lot smaller. In fact, the playground is now a parking lot behind the building. There's like, you know where you guys have the outdoor classroom out there? Okay, that was treed. Where the soccer field is, that was all trees. And the playground is where the pavement is, the asphalt is right behind the school. That was the playground.
You changed it up a lot.
Love to read. I would rather read than go to gym. I would rather go to the library than go to gym. That's what I liked. But my favorite, at your age, what I used to read, there was a series of books called Nancy Drew. And Nancy Drew was they were mystery books. And every book she had to solve a mystery. So I would read those. And then there was I used to like to read historical biographies. Does anybody know what a biography is? Yeah.
I did one.
You did? What is it?
It's where you write about like
Somebody famous? Somebody important? Yep. That's what I used to read. I used to go to the library and I would have Nancy Drew at home, but I would go to the library here and always get a biography of someone.
Was the library where it is now?
No, I don't remember where. All right, probably I should tell you what the school. Oh, somebody asked me about the cafeteria and where it was. I'll tell you where it was. Right now, it would probably be when you come into the main door, the main office door. You would take, at the end of that, right there, you would take several steps down, and that would have been the cafeteria back in those days. Yeah, absolutely. And actually, the gym at one point, the gym had to have been up over the cafeteria, and it was 2 floors. So the main gym was on the on the second floor, and then upstairs on the 3rd floor was a balcony that used to go around, and all the high school guys would like to, I shouldn't say this, but all the high school guys used to go upstairs on the balcony, because after Mrs. Hodgkins retired, we had another gym teacher who was really cute and pretty, and the boys used to go up there and stare at her. She didn't like it, but that did happen. Well, when I was in kindergarten, we had a bus, and then that was only for the kindergartners that lived across the bridge. Then when we got into kindergarten and 1st grade, then when we were in 2nd grade, we had to walk to school, so I'd have to come down the hill, walk across the Hudson River Bridge, and believe me, in the wintertime, it was cold. And then we'd walk along Bridge Street, and then where Tannery Pond is, we would turn and go up to come to school. So when somebody says, I walked to school up hills both ways, I did. Because I had to walk uphill to the school, and then I had to walk uphill to get to my house. Okay, you have really nice teachers. I'll tell you something. We had a mean teacher in 4th grade. Her name was Mrs. Twaits. This is not a happy thing. Well, it's not. I just want to let you guys know how things used to be in those days. Discipline was different than it is today. Teachers could take a ruler and hit your fingers.
Oh.
They could grab you by the scruff of your neck and shake you.
That's what my dad does.
Yes, they could. When you got sent to the principal's office, you might have gotten a spanking.
With the ruler? With the ruler?
No, with the Board of Education.
Oh.
And I had one teacher, Mrs. Twait. She had, it was called a piece of wood that's 1 by 1. It was 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch. And it was used to prop the door open. And this one little boy, she didn't like very much in 4th grade. She used to take that and hit him on the back with it.
Oh.
So you guys are real lucky. You have no idea. School was different back then. So you behaved. You really behaved. You didn't want to fool around. When your teacher told you to sit down and be quiet, you sat down and you were quiet. Okay? We had concerts. We had our Christmas concert. We didn't call it holiday back then. It was called a Christmas concert. And then we would also have a spring concert. And all of the kids would perform in chorus, an elementary chorus, and there would be junior high chorus, and there would be high school chorus, and the same thing with band. However, we had somebody need to ask me a question about my favorite teacher. I didn't hear that question. Who has a favorite teacher question? Okay, read it to me, please.
Did you have a favorite teacher? What did they teach? Where was your classroom? Share a memory of them with us.
Absolutely, I had a favorite teacher, and I think anybody who graduated in my class is going to tell you it's the exact same teacher. Her name was Miss Tony Jugan, and she taught English in high school. She was phenomenal. She was probably one of the best teachers anybody could ever have. We put on plays, and we did plays like, the big one that we did in 9th grade was back-to-back scenes from Romeo and Juliet and West Side Story. And we had a blast. And then our senior year, we did the play 1984, which was a little more on the somber side. It wasn't quite so much fun. But yes, we did have concerts, and we had plays, and we had a drama club, and it was just awesome. Drama club, that's what it was. Not drama like you're thinking. Drama means acting. Okay, when I started kindergarten, there were 2 parts to this school. The first part was obviously when you come in the main door, and then the second addition was added on down the far end, and that was added on, I think, in 1956 or 57, right around when I started. And this part here, and the, I don't know when this part ended, but I know when they added on to the music room, they added the new gym and the band room and the music room. That was when we were, I think, freshmen in high school. So it was a lot smaller. And then when, I don't know who's teaching, I think it's pre-K's class was my first grade. And her name was Miss Akins. And she was a very nice teacher. I liked her. Kids didn't go to restaurants for birthdays. Kids had their birthday parties at home. But I'll tell you, my favorite restaurant in the whole world, my aunt owned it. And it was downtown North Creek. It was called Smith's Restaurant. And it's where Chrissy's used to be. And that was my aunt's restaurant, and that was my favorite place to go.